Mr. Speaker, the tone and content of democratic debates, including a general election, is very important to all of us. So does the Prime Minister agree with me that political opponents are not saboteurs and that all elected mainstream parties and parliamentarians have a mandate and that should be respected?
In this House and in this Parliament, it is right that we have proper debate and scrutiny of proposals that are put forward by the government, and that arguments on both sides of the House are rightly challenged, and those discussions take place. But I say to the right honourable gentleman that what the British people, what the people of the United Kingdom voted for last year, was for the UK to leave the European Union. We have set that process in motion. There is no turning back.
Angus Robertson!
Speaker, it's disappointing the Prime Minister didn't take the opportunity to condemn intemperate language in describing other democratic politicians as... Well, there's heckling from the other side, and I think the Prime Minister should take the opportunity to underline something that we should all agree on, that describing people in the way that we've read in some daily newspapers by leading politicians is not acceptable. But, Mr. Speaker, most people know that the reason why we are actually having a general election is because of the woeful state of the Labour Party. If the Prime Minister is so confident that our hard Brexit, pro-austerity, anti-immigration case is right, then she should debate it with opposition leaders during the campaign. We look forward to the straight fight between the SNP and the Tories. Can the Prime Minister tell the people why she's running scared of a televised debate with Nicola Sturgeon?
I say to the right honourable gentleman, one of the crucial things we have in this country that underpins our democracy is a free press. And I believe that is important, and I believe people in this chamber should stand up for the freedom of the press. And as to the TV debates, I can assure the right honourable gentleman that I will be out there campaigning in every part of the United Kingdom, taking out there our proud record of a Conservative government that has delivered for every part of the United Kingdom. And I might suggest to the Scottish nationalists that actually now is the time for them to put aside... Yes, wait for it. Now is the time for them to put aside their tunnel vision on independence.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Because of the Prime Minister's changes to education funding, every school in the country will face real terms cuts. Manchester's hit harder than anywhere outside London. With Chorlton High School and Parswood High School in my constituency, each losing the equivalent of over 30 teachers. So I asked the Prime Minister the same question a head teacher asked me. What would the Prime Minister cut to balance the books? And what subjects would she choose to sack teachers from?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Recent changes to housing benefit entitlement for 18 to 21-year-olds will affect 195 young people in Merthyr and Rhymney. The government is constantly challenging young people to train and leave benefits for the world of work, but homelessness charities like Clymai are concerned that these changes will be a major barrier to learning and training for youngsters who do not have a safe and secure environment at home. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that we should be doing everything we can to help young people in the job market, including offering financial support for housing? And will she pledge to strengthen the guidelines so that no more young people risk falling through the net and ending up on the streets?
Does the Prime Minister support the people of Darlington when they oppose the downgrading of their A&E and maternity services? They want an answer they can trust, Prime Minister. Is it yes or no?
The proposals for the configuration of health services in local areas is a matter that is being determined by local commissions in the best interests of services. In the best interests of services in the local area. But I'm interested, the Honourable Lady refers to the views of her constituents in Darlington. She has said of the Leader of the Opposition, the Leader of her party, my constituents in Darlington have made it clear to me they cannot support the Labour Party under your leadership. How can they possibly support him as Leader of the country?
Every school in Hyndburn is facing a massive budget cut. Why is a child in Hyndburn worth less than a child in Tory heartlands in the south?
This election can change the direction of our country. From the consequences of potential hard Brexit outside the single market to the future of our NHS and social care, our schools and our environment. The British public deserve to hear the party leaders set out their plans and debate them publicly. But the Prime Minister has refused to take part in televised leaders' debates. The Prime Minister and I, back in 1992, debated publicly, forcibly and amicably when we were both candidates together. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, indeed, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister called out the then incumbent who did not show up for some of those debates. Why will she not debate those issues publicly now? What is she scared of?
The Prime Minister yesterday said she was calling a general election because Parliament was blocking Brexit. But 3/4 of MPs and 2/3 of the Lords voted for Article 50. So that's not true, is it? And a month ago, she told her official spokesman to rule out an early general election, and that wasn't true either, was it? She wants us to believe that she is a woman of her word. Isn't the truth that we cannot believe a single word?
Dennis Skinner.
Will the Prime Minister give a guarantee that no Tory MP who is under investigation by the police and the legal authorities over election expenses in the last general election be a candidate in this election? Because if she won't accept that, this is the most squalid election campaign that has happened in my lifetime.